Right, good afternoon, everyone. I'm joined here with Adam Miller, ex-Stevenage player, of course, plays centre mid. This is Mike Heineman, of course, from SFC Interviews. We're going to have Rice Onley as well. He's going to join us, and he'd be co-host as well for this one. So, how you doing, Ads? How's things been, mate?
Very well, mate. Very well. Nice, and I've enjoyed the lockdown. To be honest with you, I don't have to go and see anyone, or spend time with anyone, socialise, pretend to be nice. Just mind my own business. It's lovely.
You just kind of you can kind of just roll with whatever you feel like doing on the day.
Oh, you're not wrong. It's lovely. What about yourself? How you found it?
All good, mate. Actually, it's been a little bit strange at times, but keeping busy with these interviews and radio station and stuff, Storm that I run, and a few other bits and pieces that I do with Mind and all of that. So yeah, no, just kind of trying to be as busy as I can and keep kind of on top of things.
Odd times, isn't it? It's crazy.
Yeah. So I'll bring Ryan as well because he's going to obviously be co-host on this one.
Hi, Ad. How are you doing?
So yeah, we've got some questions on there. I'm just going to throw it straight in at the deep end, and straight to the highlights. To be honest, what was it like playing at Wembley in the trophy final?
That was a good day. That was a really good day. Obviously it was the first competitive game that was held there, right?
Yeah.
So obviously, there was non-sort of Stevenage supporters there, and Kidderminster, obviously non-Kidderminster fans as well. But I think people just going for the opening of the stadium, so it bulked it out the crowd a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But the best thing for me was winning it with the group of boys that we had. That such good. We was at the time as well. So and how we won it as well, going 2-0 down and doing what we've done, because we was getting peppered by in the tunnels at half time. Kidderminster was basically telling us to go home. They was like sort of taunting us in the tunnel.
Right. Okay.
And so when teams or people try to do that to that group of players,
mm-hmm.
it was always going to backfire, because I think the group of players that we had was so talented and collectively so good. Well, I mean, looking back at it, we should have all stayed together and not gone Gillingham, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah. So what was it like? What was it like at full time? Obviously 88, 89 minutes when Steve buries the winner. It's crazy scene.
It was unbelievable. I mean, I didn't want to go in. It was just, there was beer, there was on the pitch. It was just all the fans there, and it made everything that we'd done as a group. It just made it all worth it, and to have it done at Wembley the way we done it. It was just, it was a special day. The after party was unbelievable. That's probably even better than the day itself, to be honest with you. And that was good. It was just good. It was good because you were celebrating with like what were good pals at the time. So it was what a day. It was an unbelievable day. Bad pitch, but an unbelievable day.
And obviously in that game, and throughout your time there, you played alongside Mitchell as well. And obviously, what was Mitch like to play alongside?
Mitch, I got to build a really good friendship with Mitch. He come and stayed at my house, and we socialised. Because he was over Stevenage way anyway. Wife, but we used to sort of socialise quite a lot in London, or he used to come down to Colchester. So I got really close with Mitchell, and then even just before he passed, I remember receiving the call from his brother-in-law. And it's just so out of blue, and it was awful, like I say, because we were building a real nice friendship as well. But to play with Mitchell, it was like it was either glorious or frustrating. I mean, he had all the pace in the world. I've never seen a kid this quick. So he was a lot of the time with Mitch. He was like, I fancied it. I felt on the day as well. And he'd be the first to admit that as well. But when he was on it, and you could just tell, like certain days when he fancied it, and like Wembley was a prime example, and then what a place for him to shine as well. I remember that. I think it was the second half. He was blistering. He was off on one, and it felt like on days like that, no one could control Mitch. You just couldn't. You leave him to it, and he was in the zone, and he'd destroy any fullback.
I remember. I remember that. This was, I think it might have been before your time, but there was a game against Eastbourne and we won 6-0. And Mitch scored a hat-trick that day in about 10 minutes. He was like He was insane.
Yeah, no, I was there because I was there, and then Mitch turned up, so I must have been suspended or something like that.
Possibly, yeah. So, but I know it was 6-0, and Mitch literally destroyed them in about 10 minutes. So
yeah, well, I'm terrible for memories and nostalgia about games and remembering results and bits and pieces, but it kind of rings a bell. I weren't there. I weren't at the game myself, I don't think.
Right.
He was. I mean. And he had so many years ahead of him to do even more in the game as well. I know he'd been he'd come out and he'd gone into the pro game at Southend. And he would have obviously at some point he would have gone back into it at a higher level, and obviously, I think would have done well in the game as well.
And then obviously with that, you were that trophy final. Obviously you were managed by Mark Stimson as well. What did he sort of say at the break when it was 2-0? Did he kind of get into the lads and kind of just give them a little rallying call, or?
I've read conflicting interviews and listened to conflicting interviews when some Stevenage players have had interviews about that moment. Yeah. And I think they try to be PC about it, but I'm not going to say that because it weren't. People were saying, "Oh, he didn't lose his head. He lost his head. He had the right hump that day." Sorry, and. We sat down. He was kind of calm to start with, and then I think he started thinking over what was going on and how we're letting ourselves down. Not letting ourselves down because we weren't playing particularly bad, but we weren't on point how we had been. And he was kind of like, "Look, do you want to embarrass yourselves out there in front of all these people? First game here, it's going to go down in sort of kind of the club's history certainly. Mm-hmm. Do you really want to do?" And then he battered Morrow, absolutely battered Morrow. And but then Morrow done. The thing is about Morrow and all the lads, they could take a pasting, but they wouldn't talk about it.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, even as young lads, we was only like 25, 20. I think the eldest was like, it was a young squad. I think Santos Gear was the eldest, at about 30. But all the lads used to take it so well. No matter what you think about their character, none of them used to sulk. Like Morrow got it at half time, and then look what he goes and does. He goes and scores a winner and just basically shuts him up. And,
Absolutely,
but the thing is, Stimo would have been fine with that as well. He would have wanted that. He would have wanted him to shut him up. And he did. And that's what Morrow made an excellent career out of doing that, shutting people up and just scoring goals. And you can't, stats don't lie. You can't. Morrow, for me, I didn't rate him as a player, if I'm honest with you. I didn't rate him particularly. And I've told him that. But to play with, I played with him.
Yeah.
He made things work. When he had a partnership, he made things work. And then he turned into a joy to play with. And I played in just behind him when Boydie went.
That's right.
I love playing with Morrow. And then, I mean, we got on great as well. We social again. We was all good pals. We all socialised really well. But then, again, like I say, stats don't lie. He's gone on to the league, scored bundles of goals. He's a Millwall legend. Fair play to him. Do you know what I mean? Good on him.
Exactly, international caps and all sorts. So yeah,
what he's done in the game, you cannot knock him at all. And fair play to him, and nice geezer. So when you see nice people or good people do well, it doesn't bother me. When you see the arseholes do well, that's when it bothers me.
And obviously, it come out fairly, I think it's about a year or two ago that Morrow was kind of in the frame to be manager. What did you think about that? When obviously there was a chance that he might come back and be manager at Stevenage. He was in. No, this was a couple of years back. He was actually in the frame as one of the candidates.
Oh, you wouldn't want him as a manager? No chance. No, he's not a manager. He's not a manager, Morrow. No chance. He's a chief scout at best. He's not a manager or a coach either.
Fair enough. So, what was it like? Obviously, going to Ebbsfleet. Obviously, in the semi-finals, and they were holders and favourites to go on and win the tournament.
What that year when we went to the trophy?
Yeah, what was it? Was it Ebbsfleet or was it?
I'm saying honestly, I can't even remember.
I think it was Ebbsfleet. Yeah.
In the semi-finals.
Yeah, I'm sure it was Ebbsfleet.
You know what? We'll have to move on to that question because I can't even remember it. I genuinely can't.
Fair enough.
Was it not? Did we not play Grays?
Oh, yeah, maybe it was Grays. Was it Grays? It was somewhere around that kind of area. There was
crazy because Stimo, I'm sure it was. Don't obviously fact check me, but I think it was Grays because Stimo, Mitchell, Nuts, John Nutter, a couple of the boys had come. There was a bit of there. I'm sure. Honestly, I'm sure it was Grays.
It might have been. It might have been Grays. Yeah.
I've just looked it up. It was Grays.
Was
it? Yeah.
It was. Yeah, because I remember us all celebrating opposite the dugout.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It was all like diving into the crowd and. Yeah,
see, my memory's gone funny. I was even at the game and I just can't even remember where I was.
Must be bad, even if I remember that, because my football was bad.
But they were.
I was. I think I was suspended or injured. But I weren't playing that game, which was obviously really frustrating. But like I say, it was never for me. It was never going to be a doubt that the boys were going to get to the final because there was that rivalry between us and Grays.
Yeah.
Because of the history between the lads coming to us and Stimo. And I think Stimo come to us Stevenage under quite a shadow, under quite a cloud when he left Grays. And yeah, I think the boys at that time, it was just all about proving people wrong. And it always kind of worked nicely, proving people wrong, shutting people up. That's how the lads and Stimo, Scott Barrett, that's how we all were. But it comes from Stimo and Scott Barrett. We kind of that's how they schooled us, basically. So I remember celebrating that night.
It might have been where Grays were holders of the trophy. Maybe it was that. I can't remember. Because I know Mark won it 3 years in a row, or 3 out of 4 years or something, didn't he?
Won it 3 times. So did Nat won it 3 times as well. I don't know if it's a year. Yeah, they might have been the holders again. I don't know, but
We've got Statsman on it, right? Were they holders at the time?
Grays were the holders. They beat Woking in the previous year.
Yeah, and that kind of comes on nicely. In fact, as well, they beat Woking. Your Stevenage debut was against Woking as well, wasn't it?
My Stevenage debut was against Woking.
Yeah, I think it was 1-1. Yeah.
Where at home?
I think it was at home. Yeah.
I can't remember. You sure it's against Woking? Oh, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that when I looked it up, it said it was Woking was the debut game. It was 1-1. Yeah. I don't remember who scored or anything like that, but.
That under our...
Was that under?
Must have been.
I can't remember.
Wesley.
Yeah, because you played under Graham as well, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then he left.
So when you left the club and you went to Gillingham alongside, Mark and John Nutter and Baz and everybody else, what was that like, leaving under a little bit of a cloud? As you some fans might say.
I always disagree with that. I always think because, listen, if you got promotion, if you got offered a promotion for more money, and listen, I'm just going to talk to you how players at the time. Anyway, I was going up. I was going up a level, and I was like, at the time, I think I was planning to get married. Yeah, I was planning to get married, so I was setting up a family. So my family life was more important than my football life.
Fair enough. Yeah, I
got Damien saying that. So for me, it was about I needed for a future after myself, and then and went there. Listen, it's back here. Like I said at the start of the interview. If we'd have stayed together as a group, we would have flown past Gilly. I personally, group of players, strength within that group of players, we'd have ended up in the championship. And then ultimately, I'd have been on more money anyway. But that's
true. And obviously, so you mentioned about Steve and Mitchell, and obviously you played in Mitchell's memorial game as well, didn't you?
Sorry, what's that?
With Mitchell Cole, you played in the memorial game at Stevenage as well, didn't you?
Memorial game, yeah. That was It's really cutting out now.
It is a bit, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. It's come back now.
Yeah. No, the Memorial game. Yeah, that was an emotional day. You know, it was just, everyone was there for one person, and what had happened, it was awful. But that's probably, once I retired, that I wasn't going to play anymore. After that, I just weren't going to play, and I haven't. I've worn my boots then, played, and that was it. It was an amazing day because obviously the shirts had Mitchell, Cole on the back.
Yeah,
it was a good turnout. It was, that was a really emotional day. But then it was also kind of crazy, all of us getting back together, that we hadn't been around each other for so long. And it was really nice seeing everyone and seeing some, good faces in the crowd, that, fans, proper loyal, genuine fans. I always loved it. And like I say, I genuinely didn't. It weren't about me leaving to go to Gillingham for any other thing to do with the club. I loved Gillingham was probably my happiest time in football. Stevenage was probably my happiest time in football, if I'm honest. Gillingham was the worst time in football as well.
Oh, really? And didn't you go to Gillingham on the back of signing an extension? Was it a year or two extension with Stevenage? So were you still under contract with Stevenage, or were you out of contract?
I went to Gillingham on the back.
Oh, I was just saying, were you still under contract with Stevenage, or out of contract?
Yeah, I was. Gillingham, I think I signed a new deal there. But yeah, Gillingham paid for me, and I think it's me and us. They paid for us, and then Barry and Stuart looked to come later, I think, in the year. But yeah, I was under contract.
Okay. So let's have a look what we got. We are kind of losing signal a bit again, as well, by the way. But yeah. So in your time at the club, you played over 2 seasons, and you scored, I think it was over 10, 12 sort of goals over that time. And created a lot more. What would you say, were your sort of main, favorite games and games that you were involved in quite a lot in terms of assisting goals or scoring goals? I think we're losing you, Ad.
We had the whole question.
Yeah. No, I was just saying, in your time at the club, you scored, I think it's about...
You what?
I think you're cutting out a bit. You scored about 10, 12-ish goals, as well as assisting quite a lot more as well. So
we're having some technical issues.
We'll get Ads back in a minute, guys. Just bear with us. He's obviously out and about doing a few bits and pieces as well. And he's doing this on the go, so we'll try and get him back in a minute.
And before you ask, he is actually parked up. He may be in his car, but he is actually parked up on the side of the road to do this, so that he's not doing anything illegal.
But yeah, in terms of while we wait for him to come back again, we might as well keep this rolling and keep it going. What do you remember about the FA Cup game, Ryan? The FA Trophy game, sorry, Ryan. Do you remember anything about
that? To be honest, it was non-league. It's non-league. I wasn't a big follower of non-league back then, but I've seen some things now, and I mean, to beat Grays over 2 legs, especially in extra time as well, I've just seen.
Yeah.
And for them to be the actual holders, you got to be proud of them as well. Proud of Borough for that. So
absolutely, yeah.
I was actually shocked when I just seen that you beat the holders in the semis, but hopefully we can get Ads back on.
He just sent me a message, actually, so just give me 2.
So as Mike's just talking to Adam Miller there, we will be bringing him back hopefully when we can. If we can't, we'll end this broadcast and we'll get Adam back on when he's able to join us.
Right. So yeah, hopefully it shouldn't be too long. So yeah, like obviously that was the first ever game at the new Wembley. It was a great day to be at as well. You know, it was outstanding, really, to be honest, in terms of the comeback being 2-0 down, and then you know, just it was a great day. It really was a great day and a great game to be at. And you know, as Adam said, Mark there had a little bit of a moan up at them at half time and got into them, and then they went out and they, you know, were really in control in the next half, second half, and you know, won it at the death, the last minute. So it was very memorable and just an excellent day, really.
Ricky, bear with us. Ricky Leonard, he's saying, gutted, lads. Well,
that's all right. We'll have him back in a minute.
We're just getting him sorted and getting him back in because he's having a few technical issues due to him being out and about.
But yeah, like there's loads of obviously he played with Mitchell Cole and Steve Morrison and loads of other great players in that team as well. Ronnie Henry, Alan Julian, Barry Fuller, and lots of lots of others. John Nutter as well.
And Giggsy, we will ask that question as well.
Cheers, Ryan. Sorry, not Ryan. Ricky. Thanks, mate.
We will ask that question about you asking if he was a New York baseball fan.
Yeah, we'll just see when he's going to be able to join us back. Hopefully, he shouldn't be too long. It might even be that his phone was going down. Obviously, he had to call in and get a charger, didn't he? So,
yeah.
It's nice of him to obviously take some time out of his day anyway, and obviously he's out and about, and you know
his work day actually.
Yeah, he's working as well. He's just coming back from work, and you know he's doing this, and then he's going to be doing a workout and stuff later tonight. So he's got a very quite full on day. So we'll just hopefully have him in not too long. But yeah, if you want to put any questions in the chat for when he joins, that's good. We'll keep an eye on that for when he's back. Hopefully it won't be too long, as I said. So there we go. Hopefully everyone's all right anyway. And this is the 5th one of these, I think it is now, or the 6th one of these that I've done. Obviously the rest are all up on SoundCloud as well, so you can find them if you go to soundcloud.com/SFC_interviews, I think it is. But yeah, the Luke Foster one's up. I think 3 out of the 5 are up so far. The Darren Hay and Danny Carroll ones are not up yet, but they'll be up shortly. And the Neil Illman, the Charlie Lee, and the Luke Foster ones are the ones that are up at the moment. So you can find them on SoundCloud if you want to give them a little listen to in audio. Or they're on the Facebook and Twitter. The ones I did yesterday with Luke and Danny, they're still up as well. And also their ones with Neil Illman is on the Twitter and as well. And the Darren Hay one was about last week, I think it was. And I did that on the Twitter as well. So if you scroll down a bit, you'll find that one too.
The Neil Illman one was actually jointly presented with me and Mike. So it's on everywhere.
Absolutely, yeah. Big shout out to Ricky's girlfriend Annie, who is watching for the first time as well. Afternoon, how are you?
AKA Emilio Estevez.
Yeah, she said that about Charlie Lee, yeah.
He is a great lad. I mean, I've actually got to meet him twice, I think, maybe even 3 times. Mm-hmm. But he's a great laugh.
Yeah, Charlie Lee's quality, yeah. And obviously that was a player that's taken time out, and he's in the middle of a possible playoff. In the playoff campaign with Yeovil as well, I should say. So it's obviously very nice of Darren to allow that one, Darren Sarl as well.
He probably thought, it's Stevenage. We'll let him do it.
Absolutely, yeah. Got some affinities with the club still, so yeah. Darren was actually, I saw Darren at the end of the couple of months back, one of the games. I can't remember what game it was. I think it was Salford City, and we lost 1-0, which turned out to be Wesley's last game of the last term that he was at. And I spoke to Darren for a bit before that game because he was there, yeah.
Mm.
So we're still waiting to see what Adam is doing. If he's going to be able to join us in a minute, just stay there. Luke Freeman would be a brilliant interview, yeah. I'm looking. There's quite a lot of interviews that I want to do with, the likes of Luke Freeman, maybe Stevie Morrison, maybe George Boys, and club legends like Mark Smith and Daisy. I've asked Daisy and Ronnie, yeah. Robbo, Lairdy, Ash, Bozzy, Moose.
Scott Laird would be a great one, especially I've got some great stories. A story about him. It's just amazing, and me and him had a great laugh after that game. He was actually playing for Preston under Graham Wesley.
Yeah,
Argo had Preston in a pre-season friendly. Mm-hmm. So Scott Laird takes a throw in front of me. Being an ex-Argo lad, I start booing him just for banter.
Yeah.
As you do. I booed him, said, "Oh, you're just going to throw this badly." Not the right terms, but I'm not going to swear on here because it's PG. And
I'm sure we've had people that have sworn on it. I'm sure Adam's probably going to swear on it when he comes back in a minute about his bloody connection. So
and I actually, he turned around, looked at me, smiled, and after the game I went, "Can I get a picture?" He's like, "Yeah, mate, yeah." I was like, I was only joking about that, and he's like, "Yeah, I know, it's a bit banter." I was just like, "Thanks," and then he carried on. But we've now got Adam back in, so we're bringing him back.
You right, Az?
Hi guys, sorry about that. Yeah, I'm good. Sorry about that. I've got my earpiece in as well, so we're laughing.
Okay, excellent, mate. All right. So yeah, the question
a little bit clearer as well now.
Have you stopped, or have you called in to say get a coffee somewhere or something, or are you still in the car?
I've got him. It's still cutting out. I don't know. No, that'll be later. I'll go. No, I'm back now. I'm back home.
All right, mate. So the question I was asking was,
it's on Wi-Fi, but
it's all good, mate. No, we hear you clear. It's all good, all groovy. In your time at the club, what I was saying was you scored around about a dozen goals there or thereabouts, give or take, while creating loads more. What kind of gave you the most satisfaction? Was it sort of assisting goals, scoring goals, mixture of the two?
The obvious answer you'd say would be scoring goals, because it obviously, that puts you on the headlines, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I mean, I like to think I was a creative player, so I did like creating as well. And it's as vital to have that kind of person. I mean, look, when you had someone like Morrow, he was a natural finisher, no matter which way you talk about it, he was just a natural finisher.
Yeah.
So he needed someone, I suppose, like me or Boydie at the time, and he was obviously creative, like Mitchell, other creative players in our team. So I just think, this is important, and I think creating goals is obviously vital. But I enjoyed that as well. I did enjoy it, but listen, nothing's gonna better like hitting the back of the net. Do you know what I mean?
And obviously, you've mentioned all those ones that you played with. You played with Dobbo for a couple of seasons as well.
Mm-hmm.
And he was another one that in the trophy final, he shone in the second half.
No, he did. But I mean, he was another frustrating player, and he had so much ability and potential, but he was murder to get it out of it, even at training, you know, and because our training, our tempo used to be like a match day, so our training was absolutely on point, and if anyone was not revved up 100% every single day, it was 100%. Like people flying into tackles. There weren't no pussyfooting around. Do you know what I mean? It was tackles. You get folded. It would go up. There'd be rows in training. No one. But it was only because of the fact of like, isn't it a five-a-side or whatever? It was about wanting to win. Everyone was so hungry and wanted to win. It was just, that's how it was. So Dobbo he'd teeter and piss around the edges and wouldn't want to get tackled, and you'd have to, obviously then a few people started firing into him, and then he started learning the way to be in training, so he got bullied into how we wanted him to train. But it's so frustrating though, because like I say, he had so much ability, but I don't think he used that either to his potential and what he should have done. But again, like Mitchell, not Mitchell was on it more than him, but when he was on it, Dobbo, you couldn't stop him. You literally couldn't stop him. He was then he was a joy to be around and watch and play with and train with. But yeah, again, it was just a mindset to how he wanted to turn up, Dobbo, on the day.
Okay, and then in terms of when you were playing with Stevenage, obviously you scored a couple of goals against Grays, Kidderminster, Burton. Have you got a favourite goal that you scored out of the lot?
No, but I tell you, there was we weren't on telly. There was a it weren't me scoring it. I think it was Morrow, surprise scoring it.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget it. We even sat in the change room and watched the game, the goal, because we obviously everything used to get filmed. Mm-hmm. And we watched the goal and the passing and there was like there was touches and moves and movements and third man runs, and that I'll never forget the goal. I can't think who it was against, but it was special. And we even watched it in the change room, and we was even like pleased with ourselves tapping. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? As a team effort, yeah. It honestly, and then Morrow scored. It was some move. But for me, no, it was just there was never really a favourite for me, to be fair, like that. You probably understand. I haven't got many sort of memories about football because I didn't like football, to be honest with you. I didn't. As a sport, as an industry, it's not for me. I just don't like it at all. It's political and it's full of snakes as well. So it's just I pretty much blank it out now.
Fair enough. All right. Obviously, when you were, with the club, who were your sort of best mates at the club? Obviously, you said you were all kind of very close-knit group, but...
I mean, we was out a lot, all of us, together, like collectively, so it weren't like a separate thing. But at the time, I'd probably say Stuart Lewis, John Nutter. I still talk to John Nutter now, so I only spoke to Nuts just last week. I go back to Grays when I was first at Grays with Nuts. And he was my roomie as well when we stayed away.
Okay.
So Nuts is probably what I'd say. I'd probably say he's one of my best friends in life, not just out of football. But yeah, at the time, Nursey, I was knocking around with Nursey a lot. But we was all Daryl McMahon. I was very close with Daryl. I still speak to Daryl a bit as well. Hold on, let me just pick my dog up.
That's all right, pal. Yeah.
Don't laugh. Look at that. Chihuahua, bosh.
Cute little thing. I'm sure it's probably a little.
It's a little shit, mate. Little shit.
Looks cute.
Yeah, it bites, mate. Bites. That gets some teeth removed because poor thing's too old now. At the time it was sort of we kind of all went out together. We socialised a lot. I was knocking around with Morrow a lot. Stayed at his quite a bit. And he lived near Stewie Lewis, so we kind of knocked around together quite a bit around like Ware and sort of Stevenage area. But yeah, just as boys and lads, it was just a good, unbelievable connection. And to be honest with you, like I say, football weren't my cup of tea, but they made it enjoyable. Them people like that really, really made it. Even the club, the fans, and like I say, it's not me just bumming fans up because there's some arsehole fans as well. But in general, my overall opinion, like I say, of the club, the chairman, the directors, the board, everything you could have honest conversations with Phil Wallace. I thoroughly enjoyed that club. It was just full of good people, and it was just a good place for me. Every time I'm around there and you drive past the ground, it just fills me with nice memories because it was genuinely a happy place to go and work. I was going to work, and I loved home games. Absolutely loved home games. And like I say, the regret for me is not staying. Well, then, but Stimo went anyway. So I think we was playing so well under Stimo. Staying with Stimo, we would have gone through the leagues into the championship. I totally believe that as well. But it's in hindsight. So that's what it is in hindsight. So
and obviously
it's frustrating.
Yeah, but no, obviously you just said there about Daryl, and obviously the current situation at the moment is going to be very, very strange because obviously you got an affinity with the club, but you got an affinity with Macclesfield through Daryl as well.
So why is it relevant with Daryl? What's he doing?
Was he manager of Macclesfield?
He was at Macclesfield, yeah. But that's what I'm saying. When I talk to the lads,
but he's not now, is he? No, yeah.
No, I thought he'd gone back to Stevenage on some capacity the way he was talking. That's all.
No.
No. Daryl, yeah, he's still. I mean, he needs to be in football because there's a footballing brain, and I've spoken to obviously friends in football that he's managed and coached, and every one of them says like he's a breath of fresh air to the game. He's thinking and his training methods are just unbelievable. And everyone I know, I'm talking, experienced pros down to the youngsters.
Yeah.
Everyone just thought he's an amazing coach and manager. It don't surprise me because, like I say, his footballing brain is absolutely red hot. And that is someone. To be honest, if Stephen, who's manager of Stephen now?
Alex Ravel.
Is he the one that used to play at Southend?
Alex Ravel. Yeah, it was a striker. He used to play with Stevenage, Rotherham.
Yeah, rings. Oh, it does ring. He's a manager. Yeah. He's a manager, is he? Really? Yeah. He's only young, isn't he? He's only young though, right?
In his 30s, yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
He only retired a couple of seasons ago.
Oh, really?
Season or two ago, yeah.
But you speak about if Morrow is a candidate.
Yeah.
If you could have anyone at Stevenage, and Daryl loved the club as well and really enjoyed it there, and again, like me and all the other lads at that period of time, I've only got good things to say about the club. If you could get someone back in, you'd get Daryl 100%. You need to get Daryl McMahon in league football because he just does the right thing for the game. He's not politically motivated as such, behind the scenes with bullshit.
Yeah,
he just does what they should be doing at grassroots. Love football, and enjoy football as well. But he educates as well because he's like I say, his football brain's so good. So if Stephen should get someone, you'd want Darren McMahon in there.
Okay. Rai has actually got a question. I'll bring it back onto stream to ask that. In fact, So just give me 1 second. There we are. So there you go, Rai. You might as well ask it on stream. Yeah.
So, what was it like to play for the club that you actually support?
Oh, what, QPR?
Yeah.
At the time, it was a dream. Yeah, I'd come out of non-league again. That was another happy place for me. Aldershot, not as that probably falls behind Stevenage. Honestly, I've got a bad memory about Stevenage at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I come from Aldershot. I was in non-league there, and then we went into. And then we went into, it was a big jump from non-league to there. And I loved it. Obviously, it was kind of, because I was playing for Holloway and I used to watch Holloway and then Gary Penrice, Tim Breaker. I used to watch all them players. But then that's probably where I fell out of love with football, if I'm honest with you, at that point there. Because top 4 of the championship. So we're looking to go into the Premier League. So, what's about 85 million that goes into the club from if they get promoted, right? So it was just that's when I started to really notice, and I suppose I was probably naive to start with it going into football. That's when it seemed to me that it was more of a business than anything else, and and that's why I just didn't like it. And I fell out with Holloway because I can't stand the club now. I literally can't. And I think that is why I've got so much a disregard for football, because I see how it works behind the scenes. So to start with, it was amazing. I couldn't sleep that night. Obviously, a lot of my family was from around West London as well.
Yeah.
So I knew friends and family that was all around that area. So they was coming to watch me at Loftus Road. And it started off amazing. My debut at Forest, I got man of the match. My home debut against Ipswich was man of the match. And then we went away to Plymouth on Boxing Day, but we went Christmas Day. And I just couldn't get my head around that. I just said, I don't like this. This ain't for me. And then I was shit on the Saturday. On the Boxing Day, I was fucking awful. I got dragged at half time. I was probably I'd give myself a 5 out of 10 on that first 45 minutes. And then me and Holloway fell out. And then we had dust square ups on the training ground. He threatened to punch me head in.
Jesus, it's got a bit late. Yeah.
Then he just shit, and I couldn't stand him in the end. He's a little weasel, and then two-faced little fucker. Am I allowed to swear? Is that right?
Yeah.
Two-faced little shit. Yeah, two-faced man. Two-faced little shit. Didn't like him. Breaker was worse. Gary Penrice was even worse than him. They were just that three weasels, mate. Three weasels. I couldn't stand them. So, in answer, a dream move to start with. Felt amazing. After that made me hate football.
I've just looked at the team from that game, and obviously Argo in my team. And
who? Argyle? Plymouth?
Yeah, Plymouth's my team.
Really?
Well, I'm from Plymouth. So
all right. Says a lot.
and both sides finished with 10 men as well. So obviously you played with Daisy at
Oh God, you are most boring man I've ever come across in football.
And then obviously
you talking Chris Daly, goalie? Him?
Yeah.
Yeah, boring, painfully boring.
You also played alongside like Lee Cook, Martin Rowlands, Paul Furlong, Gareth Ainsworth.
Legends. All them people there, top guys. Cookie I used to go out with a lot in Beaconsfield. Loved the night out. Paul Furlong, absolute, honestly, legend. Obviously, I grew up watching him a lot as well. What an amazing professional and person, just as a human. Oh my God, what a guy. But he used to school a lot of the young lads. He really did take them under their wing, like Cookie. He helped Cookie, Danny Shittu. He helped Danny Shittu a lot. What a guy, amazing guy. And Rowlands as well, another good guy.
Yeah, Martin Rowlands.
But Ainsworth. I've never seen a machine like him.
What do you think of him as a manager?
I don't follow football enough to know enough about what he's doing, to be honest with you. So I wouldn't really be able to answer it. But as a person, as an athlete, when you look at an athlete, he is. I mean, I bet he's ripped now. He's like, I'm talking, he's a unit, and he's ripped as well. And he's probably 50 off. He's probably 50 or something now. Yeah. But he trains in the gym. Everything he does is 100%, and he's honestly, even if he's been out the night before, the next day he's first in the gym, first out on the training pitch. Amazing energy. Honestly, I've got a lot of time for him. Real nice guy.
I've got a comment here from Stu. Stuart is saying, love that. That was about your, I think it was, I don't know what it was regarding, I think something that you said about QPR. He's one of the big Borough fans, Stuart.
Oh, is it? Yeah, QPR, yeah. Corrupt. Shithole.
We, as well as following Stevenage, we actually, as a family, used to follow QPR quite regularly and go to Loftus Road a bit as well. Back when they had Gavin Peacock, John Spencer, Trevor Sinclair, MP.
Yeah, that's when I used to go and watch. Yeah. That's when I used to go and watch. I still speak to people like Andy Impey. I actually sold him a few cars, to be fair. He's top man. Andy Impey's top man. But that old school, they're cool. Like Trevor Sinclair's a cool guy, but.
My brother was actually mascot for one of the games as well against Tranmere. Where I think it was 2-0. And my dad, his business were. I think Sponsored it, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was match ball sponsor or match sponsor or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it potentially, and obviously it's a historical club as well. You know, you're going back to Stan Bowles, all that kind of era.
Yeah.
And what should I say? Am I a New York baseball fan? Nah, it's just I've got a bad hair on the go at the minute with COVID.
I've looked down.
You know what I mean? It's long, but nah. But I actually do like New York because I went in December. But no, I've never watched a game of baseball in my life.
But no, what were you saying before about the QPR with Stan Bowles and everyone like that and Sinclair?
Oh yeah, because obviously it's got such history to it, and it is, you know, it is still fundamentally a well followed and popular club, but
yeah,
it's just got. I mean, it's got so much. It could go on and you know, they're not in the Prem now, are they?
No, they're Championship.
So
yeah.
I don't even know. But they've got a lot of money there. They could do a lot with it. But yeah, I mean, they should have a bigger ground. I think for the fan base they've got a big fan base. But yeah, that era you're talking about, Sinclair. I used to go and watch that era. Alan McDonald,
we were there.
Tony Roberts.
Robert. Yeah. And the FA Cup game, obviously it's FA Cup this weekend. We were there for the game when Sinclair scored that really, massive quality bicycle.
Oh, it was outrageous. That was outrageous, wasn't it? That was unbelievable.
Yeah.
He was. I mean, that was unbelievable. When you think about that was if Ronaldo or Messi done that now.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? That people would be going on and on and on about it. That was special, but that's when he was peaking because I think he got a move to West Ham, didn't he, or something after that?
Yeah.
What a player though. He was amazing. Yeah, supposed to go down and watch it at that era as well.
Oh, right. Probably saw you down there at some point. We just didn't know who you were.
Must have. He must have. I'd have had a bad Barnet then as a kid. I had a little fucking ponytail or some kind of mullet on the go.
Yeah.
True story.
So, are you still involved in football at the moment? Obviously, you kind of said that you're not there. Like, what's your, not at all. No. What's your business that you were saying about there? Just you said you just come back from work.
So I run like a car finance and like Prestige car finance and rental. So I've got 3 offices. Got 4 actually. So I've got 1 in Essex, 2 in Knightsbridge, and 1 in Birmingham. And then the Knightsbridge office kind of does a lot of the higher end rentals, Lamborghinis and bits and pieces.
Yeah.
And in Essex, got a team that does high end sales, Ferraris, literally down to Fiat, to be fair. And through my contact base, like AMP, Trevor Sinclair, I still get to deal with guys like that.
Yeah.
So they buy cars from me. Boydie, I still keep in good contact. Boydie's took about 7 cars from me.
I see. Yeah.
Morrow don't. Yeah, Morrow don't because he's so tight. Nuts, Johnny Nutter, get Nuts a car.
Yeah.
But so that's what I do now. So yeah, don't get me wrong. I speak to a lot of lads in football, and it sounds like, I don't know. It just seems like it's falling to pieces internally. I think from say Championship and downwards, it just seems. I don't know. I mean, and there's an agent popping up every 2 minutes and all. You know what I mean? It's full of like mercenaries, hangers on in terms of people wanting to take a few quid off the youngster coming up. I mean, I was selling a car to someone. His agent rings me and says, "What are you going to give me?"
Oh, really? So they want a percentage.
Yeah. And I said, "What am I going to give you?" He said, "I swear to God, this is a true story." He goes, "I pay for that kid's boots. I won't name player. I pay for his boots. He was coming through about 17, 18 at a Premier League club. He's a good name now in the game.
Right.
Boots, his clothing." I went, "Well, you're not getting them a sponsorship deal." So I said, "So you're having a nightmare there. You ain't doing the right thing as an agent if you're buying his gear." And then he topped it off with, he went, "Well, I spend a lot on him getting Nando's every week." I swear to God. At that point, I put the phone. I put the phone down at that point. But that's what you're dealing with. Agents. There's some really good ones. Don't get me wrong. There's some really, really good ones. But it's the ones that just come through trying to make a quick buck off of a player here and there. You know what I mean? Which ain't good for the game because the player's not going to go to a club that he probably wants to or that benefits him and his family. He's going where the agent's forcing him to get. Do you know what I mean? To get the best, payout commission of his contract.
Absolutely.
So don't even get me started about agents. Don't even pull it
No.
that.
All right, fair enough. So, are you? Do you ever go back to the Lamax at all? Do you ever get back to Broadway and see an odd game or not?
No, I don't. I don't watch football when it's on telly. To be honest, I watch like when the World Cup's on.
Yeah, the main
European Championships.
Yeah.
And then like Champions League from probably quarterfinals onwards. But the bits in between, I know. I never watched it when I played them really, and I watch it even less now. To be honest with you.
Fair enough. This was one that come across yesterday, and actually somebody put it on the chat. What was the best kit that you ever wore in your spell at Stevenage? I know you only had 2 seasons with it. The same kit each season? Or?
I like the one. It was with a bit of black piping around the arms.
Yeah.
We wore black shorts with 2 like the white stripes and white socks. I think it was. Yeah. So we had a red and white shirt stripe.
Yeah. Black
shorts, white socks, and then I think then we changed it that year to red shorts, red socks because I think Stimo or someone there was a myth like that we weren't doing something and that it weren't working for us. It was something weird that we changed it because we thought it was going against us or something. So that's why we went to red shorts, red socks. But I love that kit, the red and white, black and white socks. I love that look. I thought that was a cool look.
So that was like obviously, I guess, like a superstition from Stimson behind that. Did you have any sort of superstitions yourself before a game?
Yeah, I used to put. I had an order, so what I'd have to do is, it would be. I don't laugh because it was just about me buying it, but I used to put my shin pads. My right side on, so I used to put my right sock, my right shin pad, tape my pad up, my right boot, all in one go. Then I used to do the left side, and then before I went out onto the pitch, I used to have to stick all the Vaseline, fucking baby oil, anything greasy that I could find to put in there, and then put the headband on. So it was like right side, left side, and then before I left the change room, the last thing I had to do was tie my hairband up after I got all this grease and shit in it.
Fair enough.
So that was So if I'd done it, if I put my hairband in before any of this down here,
you had a bad game with that,
I'd been all over the place.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And if it was at Accrington, I would have definitely had a bad game. I was shit every time I went to Accrington. I hated that place. Accrington, I hated it. So I'd get 5, 6 out of 10 at best.
Who were they?
And Morecambe as well. I was often shit at Morecambe as well, to be fair.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I just didn't like travelling, to be honest. Up north, I just didn't like going up north.
No, and that's why you were saying earlier that you really enjoyed the home games. Yeah,
I love the home games, absolutely, and especially a midweek home game under the lights. I loved it. The pitch was always perfect. We'd get a decent. We also used to get a decent turnout as well on a Tuesday night game. But I just loved that, especially if it's a bit wintry, maybe a little bit of light rain, so it just make the pitch nice and wet, and because as a team that we could ping it around, pass it around, lovely. That pitch was beautiful. I loved it. But midweek game at home, I loved it. Under the lights, a little bit of rain, I loved it.
So what about players like Ronnie? How was obviously Ronnie's gone on to be record club holder now. I think he's had over 500 appearances for the club now. What was it like playing with Ron?
Who was that? Sorry, it cut out.
Ronnie Henry.
Who was that cut out? Ronnie. The Chav. We call him Chav.
Yeah.
He was. I love Ronnie. See, again, we got on well with Ronnie. He was another one that had that long, greasy old hair as well, like Nuts and Jamie Slapper. So we had our little gang in the corner with dirty, greasy hair. But Ronnie's a legend. Like Ronnie, and again, by the way, another tight man. He's the tightest man I've ever. He's tighter than Morrow. He is super tight. This guy, it's unreal, unbelievable. But he was what a legend though. Honestly, what a good guy. Lovely family as well. And he's just a funny guy as well. But again, for me, I think he should have played at a higher level as well for what he was, because he didn't look even like good looking fucker as well, wasn't he? Do you know what I mean? So like, and he was a centre half. He just that didn't work, but he made it work. He was a centre half that weren't massive, a big tree, you know what I mean, a big unit like Luke Oliver, let's say.
Yeah.
Lovely long hair, good looking bastard. Had a lot about him. Yeah, he was cool. I like Ronnie. He was a good guy. He deserved anything he done as well at the club, and whatever his status is at the club. If he's a legend, he deserves that as well, because he is a legend. Like
He's
as a player and as a person, I really like him.
Yeah, he's an absolute legend.
He's a good guy. He's got a good heart. He's got, you know, is he? Well, that's good then. He's got a lovely heart, like I say, lovely family. But his attitude and his sort of work ethic as well, day to day in training. And he was my captain at the time, and he was he was just a bit of me, Ronnie. I like Ronnie, like everything he stood for on the pitch and off it, really, other than tightness, because I don't like tightness. But other than that, top man, and deserves it all. Yeah, is
Ronnie
he still playing now?
He's still involved with the club. He's not playing for the club. He's playing for Billericay at the minute with AJ.
Oh, is.
And he's still involved in the club through the youth.
Oh, right, yeah. He's over
academy
there.
and stuff like that. He's involved in the youth side of it with the under 18s and that.
Oh, is he? Oh, okay, fair enough. Oh, well, that's good that he's still involved in the club, though. That's good.
Mm. But yeah, he's with AJ.
The kids will listen to him as well, because he's been. Oh, he's with AJ. Yeah, he's with AJ.
AJ's
I think he was there at Billericay, to be fair.
Yeah,
he's another funny guy.
I talked to Al. I talked to Al quite a lot about the boxing, in fact, as well. AJ. So,
I think something's happened there since we had the third man in the wheel here.
Yeah.
Turn up, third cog in the wheel. This is all cutting out. It's all cutting out, and the reception's got bad because of him.
Blame me.
We were flying along earlier, Mike. We were flying.
I know we were, mate. Yeah. This is Devon and Somerset internet.
Devon and Somerset.
Can we mute him or something? Because when we drop him off, we get a better reception.
Yeah, we can try.
You know I'm talking the truth, right? You know I'm telling the truth, Mike, as well. We were flying there.
Right, what about now, mate? Is that clear? Right, is that clear?
He's gone. Let's just see if it kicked it.
Let's see, mate. Is that better?
There you go. See? There you go. It's even better.
Yeah, so what were we saying? With Ron, obviously, Ron's still with the under 18s. He's helping out with the club. That's the best kit. Obviously, we said about Boydie. We said about some of the other players that we haven't really said. Danny Bullman, and obviously you mentioned about Nursey briefly. You're in the lineup with Dino a few times as well.
Dino?
Yeah.
Dino who?
Dino Mamria, the ex-gaffer. Yeah.
I couldn't stand him. I literally can't stand that man. I think he's horrible. I can't stand. I never got on well with him at all. I thought he's a piss poor player at best. Not for me at all. I don't care if he's a legend. He could be a legend at the club. I don't know, because he's not in Ronnie Henry's bracket at all. Not at all. He's nowhere near. He's not on Ronnie's level at all. Nursey, lovely guy. Again, he was so versatile, and he was the epitome of someone who works hard and can make things happen. That guy worked, and he understood his role, and he understood his role within the team as well. What we needed from him.
Yeah.
And he was a team player. It's the only thing you could say about Nursey. If you got dropped, he never sulked. He'd be upset, but he'd understand. You know what? And he'd actually sit there and say to me, "I understand why Stimo's done it. Yeah, I want to play, but I really understand it. It's for the best." He was the team player, and that meant everything to him. That he was doing the best for the team, and if it meant him not playing, he would just go with it. So, I mean, I've got a lot of time for that, because I wouldn't be like that. You don't. But and again, a lovely guy off the pitch, lovely person, just a real nice human as well. Danny Bullman, I weren't really around Danny that much, because I think he'd left, and no, he was there when I was at Stevenage. He was there, with Wesley. He was there,
Yeah.
and he wasn't there too long with Stimo, was he?
No, I think he
So
left not too long after.
again,
Yeah.
though, a lot of ability. Yeah, again, a lot of ability, but I wasn't really around Danny that much. But he was a bit of me as a player. I liked him as a player, and again, I always go back to training. How he was in training, he trained as he played, and
Yeah.
you got a lot. I just got a lot of time for that, because that is how you should be training, because you can't train at 50%, come to a match day and then turn it on. Do you know what I mean? You've got to be in that tempo, and Danny was like that. I respected Danny how he operated as a player, to be honest.
All right. Yeah, so we haven't really got an awful lot else left. The only other one I was going to ask was, did you know much about the club before you actually joined? Because obviously, you were, I don't know if you still are local, but you were local with being based in Hemel, weren't you?
Oh no, I was. So just outside. Where's it called? Kings Langley. Yes, I was just outside, but no, I'm in Essex now, Colchester.
Yeah. Okay.
That's where I was. I was there. Yeah, so I moved away from Apps or Kings Langley or whatever it was. So I was travelling from here with Daryl McMahon and remember Tess Fay Bramble. I used to travel in with him as well. Danny Potter.
Big Tess.
But no, I don't really. Big Tess. Oh, he was a crazy guy. He was.
I remember
funny.
Tess's song. It was what was Tess's song?
It was a good song though. But I tell you what, he was an animal. He flattened people in training with ease. I'm not talking attack.
His song was Tess Bramble. Tess Bramble. He's big and he's something to be scared of. Tess Bramble.
He was a lump. He squashed people in training without even know he's doing it. I'm talking with his upper body strength. He was just abnormally strong. But yeah, such a good character to travel in with. He was a funny guy. But no, I don't really get to, like I say, I'm not really around Stevenage, or it's not kind of in my life. But listen, I would like to go back there and see some old faces like Ronnie, if he's still there. I don't know if Phil Wallace is still there.
Yeah, Phil's still
there. To see some, oh, is it? Yeah. So to see some old faces, I would like to, because like I say, I've got nothing but positive comments really to say about that club, Stevenage. And like I say, shortly behind that is Aldershot. Anything in the pro game, I couldn't stand. So it seemed like I was better off mentality wise in non-league. Some was ability wise as well, but there you go, that's opinions.
And then obviously when you went down to sign for the club, did you get a positive sign straight away, like when you saw the training ground and everything like that, and obviously the stadium?
I mean, the facilities are so good. So it was non-league at the time, under Wesley. But the facilities, the training ground was so impressive. It was better than a lot of league clubs. I'd been on loan at Peterborough, who was in League One or League Two. When I was at QPR, I went on loan there. Awful facilities. And I know a lot of league clubs, I'm talking top end League One, were bad facilities. You go to Stevenage and at training, it was lovely. It was just instantly a comfortable environment. I felt it was a comfortable, welcoming environment. And like I say, and I always go back to it, the people within the club are good people, nice people. And I think that's why it works so well. I think that's why that club works so well. And I just only want absolute success for Stevenage. I really do. And just for everyone involved, the people, and like I say, I know there's a small minority of fans that I didn't get on with, but the fans as in general as a whole, they deserve it as well. I just love the club. I think it's just I've got a real soft spot for that club in my heart. And I've got a real dark spot for Gillingham in my heart as well.
Fair enough. I think we're done, actually, Az. I think we'll leave it there, mate.
No problem, mate. No problem. Well, listen, thanks for having me, mate.
Thanks a lot, Az. Enjoy the rest of your night, mate. Well, the rest of your evening and your night. Yeah.
I will.
Cheers,
I
mate.
will do. Stay safe, mate. And speak
soon.
You
too,
Take
mate.
care, mate.
See you later. Bye now.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.